Hey guys, it's Delirious and Sleep Deprived here, ready to bring you an epic banger of a grand final recap. Though, for once, I feel like this might be a task I am not fit for. Today, we had the grand final of IEM Melbourne 2025 between Falcons and Vitality, and no joke, this is probably the best grand final that we've had in CS2 point blank period. For sure, one of the best concluding maps that I have seen in a series, almost period. Like, in terms of just pure entertainment, insanity, and hype, I have not had a match affect me like this, pretty much other than Spirit vs FaZe at the Major on Dust 2. It was just an instant classic, and well worth being up from midnight until 6 in the goddamn morning. At the end of it, Vitality have maintained their undefeated streak, they have won yet another event, they have smashed the ESL Grand Slam. Robs is now a two-time Grand Slam champion, ZywOo gets his 53rd MVP of the year, and even despite all of that, I really think Falcons should have won this series, so let's talk about it. If you guys enjoyed these recaps for IEM Melbourne, make sure you show me by leaving a like, leaving a comment down below, and especially subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I want to hit 10k subs by the end of the year. Also, take a second, I've been plugging into the last few videos, so I'll do it again. Follow me on twitch.tv/LionHeartZ2. I'll be live tonight streaming Counter-Strike, talking about all the shenanigans that happened today. I'd appreciate it if you dropped on by. And lastly, before we get started, I would like to thank today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey, a CS2 trading website. You put in the skins that you want to trade, you select what you want, you use my code LionHeartZ for up to $5 off, or click the top link in the description, and boom, new drip.
Nice.
You can also use my code for a 35% deposit bonus if you want to buy with real money. And they have a free section with cool giveaways. So check the top link in the description, use my code to buy 15 Dragon Lores to let them know I sent you their way, and thank you to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring this video. Real quickly before we get started, I forgot to include this in the original script because my mind is scattered. But shout out to LBK from our Discord. If you didn't know, we have a nice Discord community, link in the description down below. Come hang out and have some fun. LBK was there in person for the entirety of the playoffs. He was one of the many Aussies getting absolutely shit-faced and enjoying the show. So shout out to LBK, shout out to the Discord, Bojack Point, onto the video. Unfortunately, all of that pageantry that I just built up this series to begin with did not exactly realize itself in the first map. As Vitality started off this series by folding Falcons like fresh pressed laundry, it was a 13-2 stomp on Inferno, pretty much a no contest from the get-go. You had Muncie going 3 and goddamn 11, and considering how he finishes this series, more on that in just a minute, that is absolutely fucking wild. Nico went 7 and 12, Tessus went 9 and 12 as well. You get the point, it was just an absolute shit show. And rightfully had me and everyone else worried that this was going to be Vitality sweeping them out of the server and this wasn't going to be an epic grand finals. Thankfully, that didn't happen, but at the time, oh god, was this not a great start, especially because Vitality just won a bunch of absurd clutches. Robs had one on the T side, ZywOo had one on the T side. Pretty much everything that could go wrong for the Falcons did, and we're not going to linger too much on it because this is like the least concerning game of this series because it was over so fast. Anyways, let's move on to Dust 2. And the first place I want to start on Dust 2 is I want to clarify a point I made at the end of yesterday's video about what I think Falcons should have done in the pick ban. Now, Falcons end up winning this map 16-12, which should shock everybody, myself included, because this is arguably Vitality's best map, and my personal thought was that if you want an advantage in a best of 5 against Vitality, you need to float a map you're not very good on. I still think there is a lot of credence to the fact that Falcons should have considered floating Anubis to take one of Vitality's best maps away from them. I suggested Dust 2 because I feel like this would have been the hardest map for Falcons to win. And again, Falcons are an incredible Dust 2 team in their own right, but Vitality have only lost it once to Mouse, also in a miracle game from them as well. So my personal thought was, out of all the other maps that could be played in the series, Inferno, Train, Mirage, whatever, that this was going to be the hardest map to get a win on. You should float Anubis potentially being a closer later on in the series and take Dust 2 away from Vitality, or at least something away from them so that you have an advantage in this veto. Now, of course, Falcons didn't do that. They won this Dust 2, so was I entirely wrong? Maybe in this specific example, but I feel like the logic actually isn't that out of line if you really consider the issues with playing into Vitality right now. I just had to defend myself because I was wrong. Was I really wrong? No, actually I was always correct. I can't be wrong. Anyways, let's actually talk about game and how that map went for a second. This was a weird one because if you had on your bingo card for this series Kicksand being the best player in the server for an entire map, then me and you are on completely different wavelengths, and I kind of want to live in your fantasy world. Kicksand was the most important player for the Falcons. He had 26 kills, a 1.43 rating. Not far behind him was TSS, more on him later on especially. And despite all of that, with Nico kind of just having an okay map, m0NESY having insanely high moments, but overall kind of hit and miss, it's pretty impressive that despite being up 12-10 and failing to convert match point, that Falcons sweep the overtime really cleanly, just totally shut down Vitality on the T side. And I'm purely going to chalk this up to ZywOo. I think ZywOo had really poor impact on the T side of play throughout the entirety of the back half of this game. He went 7-9 on the T side. That's just not acceptable for his standards. Frankly, if it wasn't for like Apex having a sick 4K on the B post plant on the last round of the game, this game might not even got to overtime. I think ZywOo was just really lackluster, and his stats for the game don't really reflect that, but the second half was just not his, which is really bizarre for him. But hey, that's alright, because saying that ZywOo was bad is something you cannot say in any way, shape, or form for literally the rest of this series, because as we move into Train, ZywOo went demon mode. That's pretty much the best way to go about it. He dominated the server. He looked so far and away the best player in the world that it's kind of ridiculous. But before we get there, we have to set some stage for some unreal check stealing activities. We are hyper fixating on this one moment because oh my god, does it hurt my soul if you like these players, not the org, fuck Falcons. Alright, so they are down 8-7. Vitality in control on the CT side. Falcons on the back foot economically. And to start off this round, they get immediately put in hell in a 3v5 situation as Flamesy pushes Long Dog, takes care of 2 players. So now it's the 3v5 of doom and suffering. What the hell are you gonna do? Falcons take some time regrouping, rotating back through upper, getting down towards A main. You know, you just think, get onto this bomb site. Look at how many Vitality players are here. There's just no way this is gonna be able to happen. But alright, okay, here we go. We got an opener from TSS and Kicksand. Okay, might be able to get the bomb down. Apex gets the refrag onto Kicksand. No big deal. Got TSS moving around the yellow train. The Ivy smoke still up, but time's getting really tight now. 10 seconds left. TSS has to make the miracle push towards Z. Finds the double kill. Robs takes an over peek after the first player dies. He doesn't need to do that. That gives just a small window for m0NESY to get the bomb down. ZywOo pushes up, Deagle in hand, jumps onto the train, smites m0NESY with the 1 Deag, and now it's TSS versus ZywOo in a 1v1. TSS is so low, he's one shot. His tag down to 1 HP, but TSS with the 4K clutch to tie the game. Both teams on the edge of economic collapse. We go into the next round, and once again, it's Flamesy with an insane opener pushing into Long Dog, and then Rops with the re-aggression up into upper B, through the smoke, takes care of the second. So once again, instantaneously, it's Falcons in a 3v5 of doom, despair, and suffering. Who's going to be the savior this time? The goddamn Flash. m0NESY navigates down through Long Dog, ends up with a 4K in this round. Vitality just throwing man advantages. And I don't know, long story short, they do go on to lose this map eventually, but before we even get there, m0NESY, I think, just in this moment realizes that he needs to be godlike for Falcons to stay alive, and he'll show it in Mirage in just a little bit. But this 4K was like the first shot across the bow that maybe m0NESY was going to show up in a big way in this series. Anyways, from the jaws of the abyss, Falcons have snatched a lead, 9-8, Vitality are broke. All you have to do is not lose a full save anti-eco. So, I don't know, this might be overboard. I don't think this is that egregious of a take. This is nothing short of literal terrorism from Magisk. Like, this is, you are a Vitality plant. And that makes sense. You did win a major with them, so I do think you're throwing for this team at this point. Now, credit to Magisk. Later on in the series, he does play well. It's not all bad. But right now, first off, you go 0-10 for this entire T side. Check stealing at its finest. And then on this round, what are you doing? Like what are you actually doing? Why are you lingering so long around upper by yourself? Because no one can trade you. Nico's already going downstairs to exit into the A site. You need to be aware that nobody can cover your ass. So you just die for free, you biff all your shots, you give an AK immediately into the hands of every other Vitality player. Now Nico's fucked too, because he's stuck in Long Dog, doesn't know that his flank just fell apart for no reason, and then the round falls apart like a set of dominoes. Like, this is so unbelievably bad from Magisk that it almost cancels out all the good he does later on in the series. This is literally the difference between going up 8-10 into the next gun round, where if you manage to win that, you've backbroken Vitality again. They have to save. You're looking at a nearly guaranteed match point by that time. If you just convert this anti-eco, it gives you the layup to be able to win this game. Instead, Vitality lock it the fuck in, clean sweep the rest of the game off the back of this momentum, ZywOo going crazy, Apex with an awesome 4K on the final round, and all comes back to Magisk just not paying the fuck attention. Okay, so we're now getting to the pivotal moment in this series. Vitality have gone up 2-1, it is now series point, and we're heading to Mirage, a map that all of the star players in this server love to play. The question is, who's going to be firing the first warning shot? And the answer, emphatically, were Falcons, who started off this game by going up 5-0 before Vitality could put any rounds on the board. And a lot of credit has to be given to Vitality for absorbing this early haymaker, because m0NESY's going crazy, you got Nico getting crazy impact as well. It looks like Falcons are just running away with this early momentum, and then mezii just swings a haymaker back with an amazing 1v2 clutch in the 7th round. And he just holds frame like a motherfucker into this Nico repeat after he gets the nade kill. Like, mezii is not at all a gifted mechanical player, at least compared to someone like Nico. But throughout here, and especially the rest of the series on Nuke, mezii just plays so far above his usual level, and it brings up an interesting conversation. mezii is very much an underappreciated piece in terms of like greatest support players ever. Like, this man asks for nothing. He asks for literally 0 resources, and he constantly delivers far above his expectations, and his anchoring on the CT side is some of the very best in the world. But he doesn't often have the big highlight plays of other anchors or support players. Like, you know, Jimmy will just stun out of nowhere with insane holds in Pit or on B-site Mirage, but you don't often see those big moments from mezii. He just very calmly gets his 1, sometimes 2 kills in a round, and he just plays all the good soldier spots and really enables his teammates. So I think Thorin brought up this point in the middle of the tournament. I think it's an interesting conversation for another time, but mezii is on a career path to be one of the greatest support players we have ever seen. Like, someone who deserves to be in that conversation of other true rocks across history, like the Reigns, Zipnixes, Crims. He deserves to be in that conversation. He's certainly building that resume. And he top frags here on Vitality's pick. Despite this being a loss, he goes out for 21 kills and 17 deaths. And, you know, meanwhile, Flames had a terrible second half. Props just only had spotty moments of impact. Apex was struggling. ZywOo was still ZywOo. But when things were falling apart, it was mezii who was coming up cash money in this game. But none of that mattered, because, my god, was m0NESY just the destroyer of worlds for this map. This was a m0NESY classic, dude. And I'm just kind of riffing right now. I actually haven't gone and recorded the rounds yet for this section. Little window behind the scenes. I usually record a game and then record the audio, record a game, record the audio until I'm done. I'm just kind of freestyling this one because I don't really feel like I need to go back and rewatch those rounds. I can just kind of go off the dome here, because m0NESY's impact was so clear to see. He looked like a fucking monster with the op in his hands. He did with the rifle too. The play that's just going to stand out, this is going to go on like his all-time highlight reel, was that B anchor hold on the CT side with the op. Those were some of the tightest, fastest flicks I have seen from anyone. And I mean, like, that second flick on the player jumping out a window, that can go up with any Kenny S, Simple, Guardian, any other clip you want to point to, some of the most ridiculous flicks of all time. That is up there. m0NESY snapped in a few frames from looking at window to the guy down below on site. One of the fastest flicks I have seen in years. Unreal mechanical skill from this kid. Like, Flash is not an understatement. He is so fast, it is blinding. And it does go to show that no matter what price tag Falcons paid for m0NESY, it was an insane steal. Like, in terms of just raw talent, you could have paid 10 million, 20 million, I don't care. Name the price, there is no amount that is too much for how good of a prospect m0NESY is, and he's a playoff riser. Like, he is someone who rises to the moment. He was so good on this map that he got the fans to turncoat. We all hate this org, but they were all cheering, screaming, losing their shit because of him, because of this 19-year-old phenom. And it's just such a privilege, right? It is just such an unabashed joy to watch m0NESY and ZywOo still both well in the beginnings of their prime, throwing monolithic blow after blow against each other. This series was a treat. If you're just not even a fan of these teams, if you're just a fan of Counter-Strike, there was so much here that was just like, dude, Counter-Strike is the best esport. It delivers moments that no other game can. And oftentimes I find myself wondering if I can get similar feelings from any other sport in the world. Outside of like insane moments in the NBA, you know, really tense playoff at-bats in baseball. I don't follow soccer, so I can't really give any parallels there. But the peak moments in Counter-Strike just give me chills. I love this fucking game, dude. And with that shot across the bow, we're going to a final map on Nuke, a best of 5 decider 5th map. And this is the best. Best of 5s are so much better than best of 3s for grand finals. The major needs to be a best of 5. It's time. Valve and the hoopla, we need best of 5s in the majors. Because this is on a short list of one of the best decider maps that I have ever watched in Counter-Strike. And I say that with no ounce of hesitation. I would have to make that list to make sure I'm not forgetting anything that's truly epic and deserves to be there. But surely this is in the top 10. This has got to be in the top 10. I would say top 5. Yeah, recency bias, and I think that's absolutely a reasonable factor. If you want to say it's recency bias and this match isn't gonna like have any staying power, I would disagree. In terms, okay, sorry, my mind's going everywhere. I'm tired. Humor me for a second. I cannot, in the length of this video, without this recap being like 50 fucking minutes, do justice to covering every significant thing that happened in this map on Nuke. There's too much. There's too many twists and turns. It was nearly 4 overtimes. There is simply too much to go over that I could not do it justice. So here is my compromise. I would like to, later this week, maybe by Wednesday, do a full detailed separate video on everything in this match. From Falcons going up 11-5 to this going in overtime, everything in between. I would like to do a detailed breakdown on just this game. So for now, we're just gonna riff. I'm gonna stick to the broad strokes, and I want to get into the nitty gritty in its own space where I can really give that video time to breathe, really recenter my thoughts, and break down everything that went right and wrong. It deserves that treatment. I think you guys will enjoy that content, so let's save it for them. So let's stay broad. Falcons were incredible to start off this game. And you know who else was incredible on top of it? It was Tesses and fucking Magisk of all people. Like everything we just said about Magisk, totally 100% warranted. He was so bad in this series. He's obviously the first person you want to replace on this roster, but full credit to him in this must-win game to start off on the CT side. He was fantastic. So was pretty much everybody else. But Tesses especially deserves all the love and respect here, because in a server with ZywOo, Rops, Nico, and m0NESY, Tesses was the best fucking player in this game. He was already door knocking a 30 bomb early into overtime. He finished the game going 40 kills and 32 deaths and a 1.37 rating. And there were so many high impact multi-kill entry rounds from him that I cannot go over it in full. His T-side play was some of the best entry work I have seen from a non-star player in a long time. Because all of the other star players you're thinking of who do entries like Donk, Elige, Nico himself, those players get a lot of leeway, they get a lot of resources, and then there's Tesses, who has to play in the shadow of Nico and m0NESY, and in this must-win game, he stepped up like a motherfucker. And Falcons were rocking Vitality, dude. I tweeted out at the time, this was the first time I have seen Vitality look legitimately uncoordinated, unsophisticated, and not playing together, especially this opening T-side. This opening T-side from Vitality was their worst we have seen with this roster. Apex looked lost on the calling, the team looked tilted, ZywOo was the only individual getting anything done, every other player was playing subpar to expectations. It was shades of the classic ZywOo 1v9 from years gone past. It was not at all the team that has been tearing the league asunder all year. It was incredible how poor Vitality played to open up this game. It got all the way to the point that I thought this was wraps. 11-5. You have Rops, Mezzy, Flames, everyone else other than ZywOo playing terribly. Apex visibly tilted. You're burning all your timeouts. There's no way. Falcons have done it. They've ended the streak. They've managed to take a shot off the best team in the world. The Vitality era has a firm asterisk going into the major. But remember that part I just said about ZywOo 1v9? Yeah, 1v9. Round 17. It looks like Falcons have navigated this anti-eco as best as they could. 3v2. They're going into the lower bomb site. Flames gets the opening, gets down the vent behind the two players going downstairs. All he has to do is get one of the kills a single door. Make Vitality sweat just a little bit. Tesses, maybe it was the crowd noise, maybe it was just a read, maybe it was a call out. Tesses finds him. Flames boofs the MP9 spray. Tesses gets the kill. ZywOo in a 1v3. He flies out of Squeaky with the MP9, gets the first kill, picks up the AK, goes down the vents, and then he goes to work. The best player in the world. This is inhuman play with the AK. Disaster avoided for now. 11-6. A mountain to climb to even be sniffing at an overtime, let alone victory, grand slam, the start of the era. But Vitality, they're just at the bottom of the mountain. They have to roll that boulder up and up and up, and at every turn, there is a Falcons team determined to knock them back to the bottom. It's a quick upper pop from Falcons. Tesses leading the way, a dynamic double entry, instantly puts Vitality on the back foot. ZywOo on the back of the bomb site, just trying to get anything by, but he goes down in short order. Flames, he pops out of the vents, manages to get one before Kicksan takes him out, leaving Kicksan and Rops in a 1v1. Kicksan dives down to the lower bomb site. Timer not on his side. He's running low. Does he have enough time to get the bomb down? He goes for the plant, and Rops makes a rare mistake. This peek from Rops is atrocious. I don't know what he's doing taking this dry swing with the MP9. He should be playing the time every single time he does. Because I don't know what to tell you. Rops makes too much noise. He loud drops the vent. Kicksan faking here is absolutely going to happen every single time. And if he doesn't, you navigate the post plant. You don't give Kicksan an opportunity to swing off of the fake and win the round. I don't know how to say that any other way, that it was a lapse in judgment from one of the very best clutch players in the history of the game. Like, Rops is fantastic. He will be fantastic throughout the rest of this game. But right here, he makes a rookie mistake that gives Falcons match point. 12-6. Vitality, what are you going to be able to do other than 6 straight rounds to overtime? Falcons throwing advantage after advantage, not able to get entries. They look fucking stunned. And credit to how good Munazi has been in this series, but dude, he did not do well in these final 6 rounds. It felt like his impact got totally minimized. Until we hit overtime, Munazi only gets 2 more kills in regulation. 2. And Nico not faring that much better. And while it's a topic for a different video, I think the Nico choke narrative in Grand Finals is massively overblown. He actually tends to play very well still. It's just he has some of the most notable big moment failings we've ever seen. But that's neither here nor there. That is to say, he wasn't any better than Munazi in the situation to get the team over the hump. Tesses was still fucking incredible because the Destroyer of Worlds was just the best player in the server. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, he did everything he could, but Falcons couldn't win any advantages. It gets into OT. And again, I gotta save my energy for a separate video detailing every little thing that goes on in this overtime because there's so many moments. I mean, if you didn't watch the game, you just want an idea of how crazy this is, go look at the HLTV page and see how many highlight moments there are in OT, because there's a lot of them. Once again, to go back to that Mezzy narrative from earlier, he had so many incredible upper A holds on the defense. Like, his anchoring of upper A was just immaculate. And there were so many rounds where Falcons would have steamrolled the side if he doesn't get 1, 2, sometimes 3 kills. Obviously, very early on before overtime, he denied a 1v4 from Tesses that would have won the series. Like, just unreal shit from Mezzy. Like, this got to a certain point in the overtime where it's clear both teams had nothing else in the tank. It was just a brawl. It was just a goddamn bar fight. Like, you had in the second overtime, Vitality clean sweeping the T side 3 straight rounds. You're like, okay, game over. Vitality, you win 3 rounds in a row on Nuke T side. You're definitely going to be able to close this out. And then no, Falcons, they clean sweep their T side to push it to triple OT. Everything is chaos. This is like the best game ever at this point. I'm freaking the fuck out. It's 5 in the morning. I'm so tired. I don't care. And like, there's just too much to go over, man. It felt like what it came down to in the end was Vitality just having the grit. Like, it feels like such a cop-out to say, because how do you quantify that? But despite TeSS doing damn near everything he could, it was everyone else who really didn't pick up the slack in those final OT rounds. Meanwhile, it felt like Astralis just got stronger as overtime went on. It's like you absorb so many knockout blows, but Falcons can't end the match. So you're like, okay, yeah, no, we can finish this. We can make it work. We're Vitality. We're the best team in the world. In the end, Vitality win in triple overtime. We were denied the quad OT dream. ZywOo is the MVP, because of course he is. Though honestly, I feel like you could have given it to Mezzy, and that would have been warranted. Like, were Mezzy's stats anywhere close to ZywOo's? Hell no. But in terms of raw impact, especially on Nuke, fuck it, man. I would have given it to Mezzy just because. I feel like, you know, you could make that argument. Just talking about ZywOo for a second, this is 4 straight MVP in tournaments that Vitality has attended. He went 110 and 82 for the series. And that's like just light work for him. It's crazy. I think you can poke a lot of holes in ZywOo's stats and his achievements, the teams he's played in playoffs over the years. He's been definitely the recipient of easier brackets than someone like Simple historically. But like, while you can absolutely poke holes in his credits, in the achievements, in the hardware, you can't poke a hole in the player, man. Is he better than Simple? I don't know. I'm not qualified to make that argument at this point. But fuck me, he's close. It's now, what, 4 straight events. It's 21 straight series won. They won the Grand Slam. Rop's the 2nd ever player to win 2 Grand Slams next to Twist. It's the Grand Slam already, and we're not even halfway through the year. There's time for them to win another Grand Slam if they just keep winning everything. They're by far the favorites to win the major. I don't know if anyone else can stop them. It really is their major to lose, and it's never felt more that way in many years. Like, since Astralis and since Na'Vi, there's never been a clearer fuck you favorite in a major, in my opinion. And this will be Vitality's era. Even if they manage to lose in the major grand finals, I would argue it's Vitality's era at this point. Like, they are the barrier. They are the hill you must climb. I think Falcons add an absolutely fantastic wrinkle in the sense that they are a team very clearly capable of making Vitality sweat. You saw what happened when the other pieces around ZywOo just played slightly worse than they have been. Suddenly, they were vulnerable. This was the first time that we've seen the god bleed. And if it can bleed, it can be killed. And as much as always, fuck the org forever, I do have to say, Falcons as a team of individual players just made the scene more interesting. If you're someone who's like, oh, Counter-Strike's kind of boring right now, it's just Vitality, me. Well, first off, I mean, you just don't enjoy watching dominance, and I don't know what to tell you. We're watching a generational team before our eyes. And just like every time a generational team has appeared, we all hated watching Astralis in the moment, but boy, did we miss them once they went. So appreciate greatness while it's here, boys, because it's a fleeting thing. But I think Falcons will continue to make Vitality sweat. I think they're one of the teams best equipped to do it. I think Mounts could do it on the right day. I still think Spirit could do it on the right day because Donk. But Falcons are probably more equipped than most because Nico and Muncie are such an overwhelming duo as a factor. And if TeSS can maintain it, you swap out Magisk for a better anchor and suddenly we're really cooking. But yeah, that's about it, man. What a whirlwind of a grand finals. I'm mentally, physically, spiritually, I don't know, philosophically tired. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, and especially subscribe. It helps out so much. Thank you guys for the support recently. It's been absolutely amazing. I'm very, very grateful that this is what I get to do for a living. And every single day, you guys make it more and more likely that I get to keep doing it and that it can become something that's truly sustainable one day. And that's the #1 way to do it. Also, thank you to today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. We've read up for another round with them. They're one of my more well-received sponsors. If you guys check the link in the description, you decide to trade your skins on SkinsMonkey, you can activate Mine Bonus, get up to $5 bonus value on any trade valued at $100 or more, as well as an extra 5% on top of the usual 30% deposit bonus when you refill with crypto, credit card, whatever you may use. Thank you to SkinsMonkey. Check the link, support me directly, support them, let them know I sent you their way. Thank you to our channel members: Justin, Jesse, Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, B1 Games, Cody Foxworthy, Justin Bender, Vegt, I'm Flashbang, Snowy White, Rowdy, Vergil'sPlasticChair, and Sid Pro 12. Or become a channel member, you can do so with the link in the description down below for $5 a month to get your name at the end of the video just like this, as well as a custom role in the community Discord. Follow me on Twitch.tv/LionHeartZ2. Meh.